the 15-minute rule changes everything. If you've ever struggled to stay consistent with workouts, with your fitness, then implementing this very simple yet effective strategy will solve that. All right. The reality is that most of the fitness advice out there assumes that you're 20 years old or maybe you're a retiree who has unlimited time. But most of you are in your 30s, 40s, 50s. You have a career, you have family, and working out 7 days a week at the gym just doesn't make sense. It definitely didn't make sense for me. All right. And I was not able to stay consistent that way. Right. So implementing this very simple rule totally eliminates the need for crazy complicated workouts, for routines that aren't realistic. And it helps you to build a sustainable system so you can always stay in shape. Okay. This works because small, consistent actions beat perfect plans that you just can't maintain. Right. So the 15-minute rule removes the all or nothing mentality that some people have when it comes to fitness, which is why they fail. Right. That kills most people's transformations, their ability to lose weight and be lean and be healthy, because they get too extreme, then they fall off. Right. The 15-minute rule is about building a sustainable system. So let's dive into it. So my story is that I used to be on and off with the gym. Sometimes I'd go 3 or 4 times a week for a couple months. I feel like I was making a lot of progress, and then I would fall off. Got busy with my career, and then I'd stop going. It was 20 or 30 minutes sometimes just to get to the gym, and then 20, 30 minutes back, and then I'd be at the gym for an hour plus, right? And so this was burning me out. And when 2020 happened, gyms were closed down, as you may know, and I was forced to work out at home. I wasn't forced to; I decided to because I got bored, and I got a kettlebell, and just with a very light kettlebell and some push-ups, I was just trying to get some kind of workout in. And then I realized that this was so much better. Right after doing these simple workouts, I was just doing that as a way to, you know, wait till get some kind of workout in. And while the gyms were closed, I was trying to maintain some level of fitness. And then I realized that, wait a minute, I can just do a great workout from home, and I don't have to commute to the gym, and I can get great results. And it was actually so much easier to stay consistent, right? 30 or 45 minutes of a nice, a workout at a good pace was the perfect sweet spot. But even 15 minutes from home with a kettlebell kept me in shape, and most importantly, kept the habit alive, right? And that's essentially, and I started implementing this with my clients as well. And this is like the core foundation, I realize, or one of the foundational pieces that helps to keep people in shape. And so basically, the 15-minute rule is just really simply committing to at least 15 minutes on training days. All right. Some days are full workouts. Might be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, right? Never more than that. And some days it might just be the 15 minutes. Maybe I say, all right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to work out. If it's for 30 minutes, great. But if it's not, no worries. I show up for at least 15 minutes. All right. And this was a very small shift, or at least it seemed small, but it was actually a game changer. And I realized previously that I wasn't, lazy because I was burning out. My system was not optimized. Going to the gym, commuting to the gym, working out, then commuting back was not optimal for my schedule, right? It probably isn't for you either if you can't be consistent with it. So it's not laziness, right? A lot of people think, oh, I can't work out. I'm not committed to working out because I'm lazy. It's because you don't have a system in place, right? Or your system sucks. You do have a system that sucks. Your system is going to the gym, commuting in the gym, working out, waiting for equipment. Maybe there's no one there, so you get to use all the equipment, right? Or whatever you want, and then you come back. But why get excited going to the gym when there's no one there, when you can use equipment, when you can just work out at home and it's always available to you. That's the beautiful thing. It's so convenient. And so that's what I realized about myself and about my clients, other people. If you're a father, you have 3 kids, or even 2 kids, whatever the case is, you're not lazy. You have a lot on your plate. And so you need to optimize things like fitness so they can be as efficient as possible, right? It's not about overcomplicating things. It's not about overcommitting, and it's not about burning out, right? Those things all suck and they'll keep you from your goals, right? You just need a very simple system. And having this rule where you're going to say, hey, I'm going to work 3 days a week and at least for 15 minutes. If I can get 30 minutes, that's perfect. 30 minutes 3 times a week is the ideal situation. But if I can do 15 minutes, I'm good. At least I maintain my habit, right? So this works because it makes fitness doable and it keeps the habit alive. Maybe you might have seen my recent video on habits, but building good habits is the most important thing in life. And if you have a good career, your own business, or whatever the case is, you already know that, right? But if you haven't optimized your habits in certain areas, you may have good habits when it comes to your job or when it comes to, maybe maintaining a relationship, but maybe you don't have good habits when it comes to fitness. Okay. And if you're going to pick up from this video, this habit of working out 15 minutes, at least saying, hey, I'll at least do 15 minutes, right? This is going to change the game for you. This builds, and really what discipline is when you have the habit so consistently that it just becomes autopilot, right? And so people think you're really disciplined, and you will become disciplined, but really what you have is just you have the habit on autopilot, and so you just do it. Maybe some days you feel motivated, you push it 30 minutes, even 45 minutes, amazing workout. Some days you don't feel motivated, but you still get that 15 in, right? And that's what it's about. Um, a lot of fitness gurus and experts talk about perfect rep ranges and all these different strategies. And, that can certain rep ranges can optimize certain things. But if you just want to be in shape, be healthy, and you're not a professional athlete, then that stuff really isn't super important, right? It's good to have general guidelines, but the biggest thing, the most important thing is working out consistently. And when you do that, when you commit to at least 15 minutes 3 times a week, then you get the compound effect, right? You've probably heard about this when it comes to money. You've heard about this when it comes to skills or investing in things. This also is true when it comes to working out, right? Once the habit is there, you can progress, and the progression compounds, right? Meaning you're not going to, like have to start over every few months, right? Or every January, February, you get into the gym and then you stop, right? No, you're going to be consistent with it, which means you're going to start to see results, and then it's going to bleed into every area of your life, right? And so you're going to feel so much better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to look better, more confidence, be healthier, right? All the benefits that are there when you're in better shape. And so it starts with just this, right? Just the 15-minute rule. So many people want to do 2 hours a day, 5 days a week when they're not even working out regularly, and they always burn out, and then they yo-yo. All right. So how to apply the 15-minute rule? So pick 3 days of the week that you're going to work out. It could be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It can be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever it is for you. Maybe it changes a little bit week by week, but hey, commit to say I'm going to plan at least 3 days a week. I recommend mornings. I think that's the best. Working out fast in the morning is best. But if you have a certain schedule, I had a client who's an emergency surgeon, other client who's a construction worker, they can't do those hours. So they do it after work sometimes. That's fine. But pick 3 days and then commit to at least 15 minutes on those days. So if you're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, you're doing at least 15 minutes. Ideally, the ideal situation is doing at least 30 minutes, right? But if you can only do 15, cool, you're good, right? And on those days where you have more time, great, you do the full 30 minutes. That's awesome. But you at least show up for 15 minutes. The problem is a lot of people will schedule these workouts, let's say for 30, 45 minutes. And Monday they hit it, but then Wednesday they can't hit it because they're late for something, or they don't have as much time, or they're more tired. Oh, well, I can't do the workout today. I'm too tired. No, just show up for 15 minutes, right? Maybe their kid woke them up and they didn't get enough sleep. Okay, fine, understandable. Do the 15 minutes though. You can do that, right? You can. All right, and that makes it so much more doable. And have a go-to workout. So if you've seen my page, there's the mean 15. Squats, push-up, swings, or the super mean 15, which is thrusters, which is a squat with an overhead press. There's the core 4, which is just a complete full body workout, which is basically that plus rows, right? Squats, rows, push-ups, swings, 10 reps of each. And then as you advance, you can add more reps to swings and squats, or maybe just kettlebell swings and push-ups. All right. But these are all simple, effective compound movements, right? If you're unsure about all this, just do the core four. All right. I have that on my Instagram. I'll link that down below. But do that 3 times a week, maybe for 15 minutes. Maybe you got more time, it's 30 minutes, but at least 15. And that's all you really need, right? If you want to do more, that's great, right? You want to do 45 minutes some days, cool. But you get at least that 15, then guess what? Your bad days, you're going to do 15. Your good days, you're doing 30, right? 30, 40, right? But it's really that simple, right? No 2-hour workouts, no overcomplicating, no community in the gym. Get a kettlebell or two, work out from home, and do this thing, right? And I've had all types of people get results from this, right? I had a client who had 3 kids. Well, most of my clients have at least 2 or 3 kids. But one of my clients was an overwhelmed dad, and he couldn't make time for the gym. He used to, be really into the gym and fitness when he was younger, but just doesn't have time for it. Was gained a lot of weight, and then implemented this rule. Started working out with kettlebells and calisthenics from home, like push-ups, and he lost weight. He lost about 20 pounds, maybe like 25 pounds now. Another client who has no kids, and he actually took longer to lose weight because he would try and do 2-hour workouts, 3 or 4 times a week, burn out, and then fall off and have to, adjust his cycle. But even with him, eventually he learned, right? Even though I told him at the beginning what it was going to be like, eventually he started implementing this rule as well. And lo and behold, lost weight, got in shape, and I felt amazing, right? The hack, everyone wants to talk about hacks, but the real hack is just consistency, right? And the 15-minute rule keeps you consistent. Obviously, you want to do more than 15 minutes. That's the like I said, the goal is 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. But 15 minutes is way better than nothing, and it keeps you consistent, right? Consistency is going to beat short bursts of motivation every day of the week. Okay. So whether you do my workout or you do someone else's workout or maybe you come up with your own, fine. But when you're doing it consistently, 3 times a week, if you want to do 4 times a week, you can, but even just 3 times a week is great. Then you're going to see results. You just got to stay consistent with that. And of course, you have to eat right. We're not talking about nutrition that much in this video, but I have a lot of videos on that. Right. So your next step is to implement the rule. Are you going to do it? You don't need to be. You don't need to go to the gym. You don't need to be there for hours. It doesn't have to be the perfect workout every time. It doesn't need to be the perfect program, right? Maybe the rep ranges are not exactly what they should be, and you can learn to adjust that as you go on. But it doesn't have to be perfect, right? You just need to start with something that works, like the core four, right, or the main 15, and then you do that with some kind of schedule: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever works for you, right? And you implement something like the 15-minute rule, right? The 15-minute rule is a super simple system, right? Where you're just going to commit to 15 minutes on your workout days, and that's all you do. Cool. If you do more, fantastic, right? So pick your training days, commit to at least 15 minutes, ideally 30 minutes, but at least 15, and build the habit, and you're going to see results. And of course, like I said before, if you want to lose weight, if you have a lot of extra body fat, you need to eat right, which is meat, fruit, veggies, dairy, tolerate it. Watch my other videos on that where I talk about that more in depth. All right. But implement the rule. Get a kettlebell. I can't believe some of you guys been watching me for a while don't have a kettlebell. Get a kettlebell or two, maybe, if you really want to push it, but even just one kettlebell and get started. All right. Now, if you want to work with me one-on-one, there's a link down below. You can schedule a call and we can see if we're a good fit, or watch some of my other videos. If you have not seen my guide on how to transform your body in 90 days, I recommend you watch that. But I appreciate your time. I hope you implement this rule and follow along the workouts on Instagram or here on YouTube Shorts. and wish you the best. See you soon, and peace out.